This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later. Hello and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and welcome to a bit of a garage update. We have some vehicles departing, some vehicles we've purchased. I thought I'd take you through what we're planning on buying in the near term and give you a little bit of an update on where everything is in terms of service. You know, now that there's more cars involved and I expect more to come into the future as well, I think it'd be fun to at least keep you updated on how we're maintaining them, how things are holding up, values, etc. So forgive some of the construction that's happening literally right at the house. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But let me walk you through all of the cars, and there's two that are missing right now. Walk on over here. This is our Tesla Model 3 Performance. Now, if you've been watching our channel at all, you know we've been talking about selling it, and sometimes we said we have sold it. Actually, as of today, I haven't signed the paperwork, but I have all the paperwork to sign it over to its new owner, which is going to be driveway.com. It's like a Carvana, CarMax, one of these big online retailers, I guess Vroom more than CarMax, and they've offered to pay me $41,000 for this car, which I can't remember exactly what I paid for it new. I think 55, and it has 110,000 miles on it. Nearest makes no difference. So what I did to prep it for sale is I of course let them know that the windshield was cracked. I said, hey, do you want me to fix that? They said, nah, it doesn't matter. Also, the roof panel's cracked. Doesn't matter. I put on the 0G 20-inch wheels, mostly because this is the only set of OE stock wheels and tires that aren't totally ruined. I have the stock wheels that this came on. They were silver, all bent, cracked from potholes and whatever. We've been running this on a set of stock wheels from a 2020 Model 3, our friend Drew's Model 3, but he since sold that car. So basically it's going on these. People are going to be mad that I'm letting it go on these special referral track pack wheels, and at least it'll be easy to spot in the secondary market. I'm really curious to see what this pops up for sale with. It's held up unbelievably well. Paint protection film up front really did its job. You know, we have a whole bunch of videos on this car, and actually still some that we've filmed that haven't gone up yet. We're gonna of course give it a wash before we send it over to them. It's just been sitting outside for the last few weeks while we've been traveling, and I've just neglected to sign the paperwork over to them, so I will do that soon. What else should we talk about with the Tesla? I guess, you know, in terms of condition, we've already done all the videos, but just take a look, 110,000 miles on these white seats. It's done really well. I can't believe how much use we've got out of this car, especially with free supercharging for 2 years, and then of course using some referral miles. We've never paid to charge this on a road trip using a supercharging station. It's just done so well. I'm gonna be sad to see it go. I was thinking maybe we should keep it, but then I was like, well, nah, this isn't a car I really want to get emotionally attached to. This is purely a transportation device. It helped us in the beginning years of getting Out of Spec off the ground, did a lot of miles. We've done a lot of filming with this, and it's done its work for us. It's time to move on to the next. This, of course, is our electric smart car, and it's probably something we'll never sell. I think this is going to stick around in the collection forever. I see no reason to ever get rid of it. We absolutely love it. It is sort of the dog transportation device, if you will. And convertible electric, you can't buy a new convertible electric car in the US right now. The only two that I think have ever been sold in our market was the Tesla Roadster and this, both the previous and current generation. This is the 453 generation. It does have, as of this week, Alyssa mentioned, it's got a bit of a rumble, a bit of a wobble coming from one of the tires. I'm thinking perhaps we did a couple too many skids. We may have delaminated. I genuinely haven't looked. Either way, I figured we'll take this to the track. We're gonna burn up whatever tires are left on there, and then we'll just order a new set. What's funny is, gosh, I can't remember. We put these tires on a square setup. It came with a staggered setup, which means it had a wider tire in the rear. It's rear motor and you know, rear wheel drive. So it's got a lot of Porsche 911 heritage in there. But we decided to go with the square setup to make it driftier. And yes, you can actually drift the smart car, which is hilarious. And I'm trying to think, the tires must have been like $35 or $40 a piece. I mean, it was really nothing. So we really should take this out, I've put in this aftermarket ESP cutoff switch. I'll show you over here. Ooh, construction just got quiet. That's nice. See this little blue switch right here? That runs these two cables to a fuse cutoff, which is just under the hood here. I'll show you how this opens. You just pull these little tabs, boom, and they run into the fuse box, which is somewhere, oh gosh, I can't actually remember how we did this. It's been years, but back under here is the fuse box somewhere. And it's basically run to the wheel speed sensor fuse, and it fools the car into not knowing how fast the wheels are traveling. Therefore, the, ESP, ABS systems, and actually surprisingly power steering can't work when that's engaged. So let's see if I remember how to close the hood. There we go. In and close. Mike's going crazy. And a guy on an electric scooter going by. Very nice. That made a nice whir. So you guys are familiar with both of these cars. Something we haven't made enough videos about is this, our Winnebago Rebel. It's a 2022 Winnebago Rebel. We've had it for almost a year now, I'd say, rolling up on it. Actually, let's look. If we come to the back, we can look at the license plate and it'll tell us when it expires. It expires 7 of 22, so almost a year. So 10 months, 11 months we've had it. And take a look, this is the house on wheels. Absolutely love this thing. And used it throughout the winter, never actually winterized it, didn't need it, had enough constant use, didn't leave any fluids in it, but just filled it up. We cleaned the tanks. I just flushed a whole bunch of cleaning stuff through the freshwater tank, so we're good to go. We're prepping for an adventure in this, a big adventure to come on our Out of Spec Overlanding channel. We've been bulk filming for our reviews channel because we are taking this to Alaska. And what we're really going to be doing with this going to Alaska is trying to map out all of the charging stations needed to get to the Arctic Ocean. And not just for like one car. We want to figure out where chargers need to go in, how we can help, because I eventually want to take a couple of electric pickup trucks on a big adventure, ultimately ending in Prudhoe Bay. And so this is sort of the reconnaissance mission, a little bit of vacation. I've been to 49 states, Alaska's the last one. And man, does this thing just not look awesome. We've left it ultimately stock. We have not changed it from anything Winnebago did, and that was not intentional. We've been wanting to upgrade it and change some things, and man, the values of these have just gone crazy, absolutely crazy. We've put about 20,000 miles on it so far, which for something we don't drive daily and we only use for some trips sometimes, I'd say is good. We're getting use out of it. It's going for an oil change again tomorrow. Mercedes recommends an oil change every 20,000 miles. It's just something I wouldn't do. So we changed the oil at 8,000 miles, and now we're doing it again at 18,000 miles or 19,000 miles. I can't remember which, but before our Alaska trip, we're doing our second oil change and the full service A, as they claim, which I think is just some air filters and some other things. So not sure what the bill will be for that, but I can only imagine it's going to be way too much for the actual value we get out of it. And then we get to the new stuff that we haven't told you about. There's two vehicles here that we're missing. One is the police interceptor, the Ford Crown Victoria. We just shot a little video with that over at the track. We saw it, and that's still in North Carolina. And honestly, kind of forgot that I owned it, but we still own it. And then we just got this. We have a whole video on our channel of us collecting the Audi E-Tron. It's really mainly Alyssa's daily driver, and you've been driving it every day. Alyssa's behind the camera. What do you think?
I absolutely love it.
She loves it. That's great. It's got the Prestige pack, black paint with the light color interior. It came with these dark tints. We're thinking about actually removing the tints and putting on the exact same that we have on the Tesla. I have to research and see what it is, but we really like that. It's a little bit lighter and fully ceramic, has a little bit better heat rejection. Take a look inside, a lot of piano black, the screens. We have to keep a microfiber in the car. There it is in the passenger door pocket just to keep the screens clean. But we've been taking it out to dinner. We've been running errands with this, and I can't tell you how nice it is to just get in a car and waft down the road. It's so comfortable, so great to drive, and really a very much needed practical SUV in the family. We throw the dogs in the back. We've been charging it I think only once since we got it here, maybe twice. And it's at about, I don't know, 60 or 70% state of charge. We'll charge it up when it gets to 50, back to 80%, something like that. But the range is more than adequate for what we need. We actually took it on an adventure to pick up a new car. I'll show you here in a second because I can't wait. This is a dream of mine to show you what we have in the garage. And really just gotten so much great use out of this car. So I don't expect too many videos with it, but certainly we'll bring it up when it's necessary. There's a couple things I want to talk about in regards to the e-tron, but it's primarily Alyssa's daily driver and just a practical SUV that we've really needed. There's another new purchase that's not here. It's actually at my colleague's Zach's house. We bought it for one of our new channels, Out of Spec Overlanding. And it is a super rare, super duper cool bucket list item, 2004, gosh, I can't even remember what year it is, 2004, 2005? Chevy Suburban, I think it's an 05 Suburban. But that's not the rare part. It's a 2500 with quadra-steer. So they only made 16,000 vehicles total with four-wheel steering back then. This is sort of a totally not in good shape truck. We bought it for only a couple $1,000s and we got to fix it up. We got brand new tires from our tire sponsor Nokian for it. We're going to get good wheels for it. We're going to build it and we're cleaning it up, make it look nice. And just so rare to find a quadra-steer from that era. We're ordering, I don't know if Zach's ordered it yet, a control module to make the four-wheel steering work. And then there's a modification where you can actually make it crab walk, which I think we're gonna have to do because when we get the Hummer EV here to review, I wanted to show that four-wheel steer is not new to GM, and you'll see all of that on Out of Spec Overlanding. Okay, here's the big reveal, the last car, the newest acquisition as of 2 days ago. And I'm just thrilled to be able to show you this. Now forgive me because our garage door broke just now. So I'll lift it up and you'll have the big ta-da moment here. You join me back at the office with these incredible views to thank Magna. Now Magna is a technology company that produces not only parts for cars, but also technological solutions from manufacturing and design and engineering. They cover so many parts of the automotive sector, and I bet you've interacted with a Magna product in your life before. Magna actually is very near and dear to my heart because their partnership, Magna Steyr in Austria, produced my first car, a Mini Countryman, and it was built right there in Graz. A lot of you are also familiar, Magna's going to be producing the Fisker Ocean in their Magna Steyr factory, and they also build G-Wagons, and nothing gets tougher than a G. So really excited about our partnership with Magna, of course. They are also hiring for engineers, so we know a lot of you guys are super interested in technology and automotive. I'll leave a link below so you can learn more about possible opportunities at Magna, but of course we want to thank them for sponsoring today's video and being such a huge supporter of Out of Spec. Truly, they are pushing mobility forwards responsibly and sustainably. Ta-da! Now I know 3 people are probably going to be interested in this thing, but this is my new, to me at least, 1991 Land Rover Range Rover. And it's no secret I'm a huge Range Rover enthusiast. I've actually owned a newer generation Range Rover, but I've always wanted a classic. And I've actually always wanted a classic Defender, and that maybe one day down the line that can be added to the collection. But I'm just so thrilled to be able to find this. Now this started a few weeks ago when we had the E-Tron in North Carolina. My good friends Ben and Mike have a classic Range Rover, a diesel manual 2-door version. The early ones were all 2-door. And I was able to go for a drive and I'm like, oh, this is proper motoring. And then I just started browsing around, whatever, nothing, a little casual glancing. And totally randomly, I loaded up Facebook one day, sitting on the couch upstairs, and this car popped up in a group for sale that I didn't even know I was a member of. It's called the Colorado Land Rover Enthusiast page or something like that. And I saw it 1 minute after it was posted. I saw it had 100+ photos, very meticulous owner, obviously took photos of everything. What's crazy is you just can't find these without rust. And I'll pull it out and show you just how clean it is here in a moment, but genuinely no rust. And I was like, okay, we're on our way, we're coming to buy it. So I'll start it up for you, total cold start. I'll pull it out in the sun so you can see it. It's gotten a little bit dirty just because it is a little bit of pollen season here. So let me start it up You can take a listen to how quickly she starts on the cold start. 3.9 liter V8 engine, 4-speed ZF automatic transmission. The buzzes, the dings, it's all the way it should be. Listen to this. Right up. Absolutely thrilled with it. And so I can automatic windows, everything works. Sunroof, that was a scary moment, works. Low range, scary moment, works. When I tried low range for the first time, I made sure I was backed into a parking spot and, you know, just in case it had to get towed away. Now I am gonna get this serviced and have some things checked over, but let me pull her out, throw it in drive. She's got a little bit too much transmission fluid in there. I checked the levels, so I don't want to drive it too much right now. I'm going to have it drained, but I'll at least pull it out here in the sun for you so you could take a look. And handbrake works, but barely. Still doing its cold start cycle. I'll just let it run for a second just so we don't shut it off on a stone cold engine. But this is me. This is everything I love about classic Range Rover. It's the right spec. It's got the brush guard. These are not the original Hella lights. The car actually came spec'd with the original ones. I think someone stole them. What's amazing about this is I went through the service history of the vehicle, of course, and I saw a name and just Googled it. Turns out the guy who owned this car previously from the person before I bought it works for Land Rover. And this was actually like on display at his dealership and things in California. And she's just so mint. Her name is Judy. He told me his kids named it that. And she's been cared for since day one. Owned originally by a pilot. I don't know, he put up a lot of miles on it, 50,000 miles. It then went to a real estate agent in Big Bear, which you would think like salt and snow, but literally not a hint of rust. Always maintained at a Land Rover dealership, which just means like they must have been really rich back then and really poor now, because that's what these things will do to you. And it's got the proper 3-spoke wheels. I believe it was an option to have them color matched. These are not, but she idles great, runs great. And take a look at this, just absolute, the door thunk, by the way, bank vault. That's like almost as good as a G-Wagon, not as close, but pretty close. The interior, and you know, this is something that I imagine I'm going to hold on to for a really, really, really long time. And I have a whole video about me collecting this coming up soon, and sorry for not putting this up a little bit out of order, but I wanted to give you the full story and everything that's going on. I'll show you back here. This is typically where they rust these hinges up here for the rear gate. Absolutely none, no squeaks. The inside so clean. I really got myself a gem. I think I got such a great deal on it, to be honest, and could probably turn around and make 5-10 grand on it if I wanted to, which I don't. I want to keep it. I love it. And a lot of people have commented this is similar to the Always Sunny car. I didn't understand the reference. I've never seen the show, but maybe some of you will. And just thrilled to be able to present my Range Rover to you for the first time. But of course, the full collection video will be coming. I know not many of you are interested in this, but it is a personal passion of mine. Let me shut it off and talk about what's to come. So we have in the, I don't know if it's big enough to call it a collection yet, but eventually I think that's the goal, is to have a small collection of cars. In the collection, we have, of course, the Audi E-Tron, the daily dog hauler. Put the dogs in it, cruise around, do what we need to do. We have the city car, the electric smart convertible, which I've been commuting in, going into the office for a long time. I absolutely love this thing. It means a lot to us, and you can't buy a new one here in the US. They've canceled the smart brand for our market. The new smart SUV thing just looks weird and ugly, and I just think this has a place in our garage probably forever. One thing I was thinking about doing, I'm hoping someone comes out with a lift kit for it, because I'd love to get a lift and some knobby tires and wrap it green and make it a little bit chunkier, just as a joke. And we got to get our dumb license plate back on it now that it's registered in Colorado. Although, Alyssa, you had a different idea, didn't you? What were you thinking for the Smart? You were thinking dumb?
I don't remember.
She doesn't remember. Okay, no problem. So we got the road tripper, more or less. We just drove this across the country. It was great. We got the daily driver to the office is great. We got the big adventure mobile when we want to go camping up in the mountains or go on expeditions to Alaska, or as a support vehicle when we start taking electric trucks to come on more adventures. This would act as a great support vehicle. Put a Starlink on the roof and rock and roll. Really, really love our Sprinter. Although, like I mentioned, I have been toying with the idea of selling it maybe after our trip. You can always buy another one, but man, have these just rocketed up in value. I thought we paid a lot of money for it because everyone's like, wow, you paid a lot of money for it. And now I think we could make $40,000 over what we paid for it, even with the mileage, something like that. So we're doing really well on this one. This was a definite 100% good buy. So what do we have coming? Well, a couple things. I have officially placed an order for 2 different vehicles this week. Our Tesla is going. It's no secret I'm a huge Tesla fan. I think it's so important to the electric transition that we cover Tesla. And Tesla doesn't do media vehicles, which means they are not going to drop off the newest stuff. And so I've ordered a Tesla Model S Plaid. And black with white seats, aero wheels, because I'm going to put Martians on it. And I think that's going to be a cool car. However, I'm not totally convinced I'm going to take delivery of it. It's a $250 non-refundable order fee. I'm going to go through the process. I at least want to see what the process is like, and not 100% sure we're going to go for that, or I don't know if it's going to be an or an and. It just, the numbers are adding up, especially because we just got the Range Rover and the Suburban, everything else. So that's option one. I also have just reserved a Rivian R1T. Now, I know there's a big, long wait list for the Rivian R1T, but I'm not saying we know a way to get one quicker, but I'm not saying we know a way to get one quicker at the same time. And so that's something we need to be prepared for, where we might just get a call one day and say, hey, your truck's ready, go pick it up. So again, I don't know what the chances are, 10% to 50%. I really have no clue. We've asked around in the company and we're like, what do we need to do to get one? We want to make videos, of course, and we're not early on the reservation list. So those are 2 vehicles that I've reserved this week. There's another vehicle that I've talked about that's coming, is our Taycan GTS Sport Turismo, the wagon Taycan. And that's really going to take the place of my daily driver. The problem with the Taycan is wait times. So I'm really adamant about ordering it from our local dealer, Ed Carroll Porsche, here in Fort Collins, Colorado. They're great friends of ours. They're giving us a great deal, pre-negotiated on the car. And, you know, it's just something where I want to support their business. At the same time, they're a small dealer, which means they don't get many allocations. And, well, I can't even order one technically if I wanted to. I have a place in line at the dealer, so I'm on the list. I think there's 2 ahead of me. And then basically we configure it. We have to wait for it to be built. I would love to go see it being built. Perhaps we can do a little story where we go watch it go down the production line, maybe even pick it up in Europe, swap some charge ports around. I don't know how crazy Porsche is going to let us go, but I think it would make for an interesting story. And we're so close to the mid-life cycle refresh of the Taycan. That's going to be a keeper. I love that car. It's something that will always mean something to me. And I think that would be a keeper. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of just waiting it out another 6 months to a year and getting the life cycle impulse, or the refresh one, the LCI, of the facelifted Taycan GTS Sport Turismo when that comes. Mechanically, I expect them to be very similar, but I think there'll be some design improvements and things that, honestly, I know I'm going to want. And it's going to be so close to our delivery date anyway, I'm thinking about delaying. So that's the whole situation on the cars today, past and future. We have a really good collection coming up here. Alyssa's got something? One more. What is it? The Volkswagen? What Volkswagen? Not the Volkswagen. What?
The blue car.
The blue car?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Are you getting a blue car?
Oh my goodness, I totally forgot. I have a Volkswagen on order, yes. I totally forgot about that. Volkswagen Golf R, I've ordered it. We worked a thing with Volkswagen to find us one. They found us a car. We have the dealer. And literally have not heard a thing. I've called. They said, we don't know where your car is. And then it's on a ship somewhere. Maybe it's sunk. I don't know. So unsure of what the status is with our Golf R, to be honest. But I think that's going to be something fun to just run for a few months and then move on to the next owner. The last manual hot hatch. And obviously we have a lot more exciting cars coming. And who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if we just don't end up doing that. What do you think? No, Alyssa doesn't want to do it. Everyone in the comments said that I was such an idiot for wanting to get the Golf R.
Really?
Yeah, no one liked it, but I love it. I think it's great. So anyway, that's a situation. When it comes in, we can make the decision. The nice thing is they're in such short demand. I'm buying the car at sticker, pre-negotiated, of course, assuming the dealer upholds their end of the bargain. They've been, it's not time to complain about them yet, but it's been one hell of a buying experience. And we'll see how that all goes. Unsure, 50-50 at the moment, but at least there is an order in. They have my deposit money, and we should be getting a Volkswagen Golf R 3 weeks ago. Just haven't heard a thing. So there you go. Here's the collection at the moment. Wow, there's a lot of cars going on. It's really kind of bubbling up. Of course, like taking care of all these cars is becoming more increasing on us. We have to take our Sprinter. It's going to take a full day to get it down to Denver, get a new set of tires on it for the trip, and do a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is the dream, right? It's been my dream to be able to have these cars, have more fun things to share with you online, and it's all thanks to you guys watching. I hope I didn't bore you to death. I probably did, but this is our world, and let us know if you want us to do more updates. I was thinking every 4 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. We do a little update, talk about the servicing, the running costs of each of the cars, what we're thinking, what we're not. I really do value your comments on these videos, of course, as to what we should and shouldn't buy. The reason I've been pushing everyone so hard so we can get a Rivian is because you guys love that truck, and so do I. The reason I wanted to get a Plaid was because people are interested in the Tesla stuff. And so, you know, your comments, your desires to see cars does influence my decision, but only to a point, because of Judy. No one asked for a Judy on this channel, but we all got a Judy. And I got to tell you, I've daily drove it for the last, since we bought it. Nobody asked for the E-Tron, but the E-Tron people were interested in. Yeah, that video did well. But Judy, I've been driving her the last few days. She's been wonderful, but now that I checked the transmission level and it's like way overfilled, got to do a little bit of work. It's a Range Rover. Oh yeah, she leaks a little bit too, a little bit, but that just means it's got fluid in it. So nothing to worry about there. It's an old Range Rover, it's gonna leak. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. That's the status on our cars, some of which aren't here, some of which are, and let us know what you wanna see leave and come into the future.